Welcome to the Higher Self Habits podcast, where astrology meets behavioral psychology. Join me, your host, Angela Xavier, and together let's dive into all things astrology, how to align your mindset with your birth chart, and so much more. My intention with this podcast is to inspire you with strategies, tools, and teachings that you need to consistently get after your goals with flow and ease. Your higher self is already doing so. And after all, you are what you repeatedly do. I am so happy to have you here with me, so thank you so much for being here. Now let's begin. Welcome back to another episode of the Higher Self Habits podcast. I'm so happy to have you here. This is episode 2 of the Sun Sign series, and as you can tell from the title, we're interviewing Aries. And the Aries is my friend Melanie Cordeiro. She's a free-spirited student of life with a background of growing up with Portuguese immigrant parents. She has a passion for self-empowerment, creative and holistic living, finding her way to her highest and healthiest self while curating a meaningful life to heal her lineage and inspire the world around her. Her adventurous and curious-minded nature found empowerment in modeling, which helps allow her to share her message, celebrate the essence of the soul while breaking stereotypes. I can't wait to dive into this episode. Melanie is so much fun, and I hope you enjoy. Welcome back to the Higher Self Habits podcast, and I'm honored today to have my friend Melanie be featured. She is the Aries of the series, showcasing the sun signs and how you embody them when you are on your mission to live your best life, doing everything right when you're in alignment with that high energy Aries vibes. So welcome to the show, Melanie.
Oh, well, I am so excited to be here, and it's my pleasure to be here. I have been following your journey and what you post, so it's just inspiring to see and playful as well. And I learned a lot from what you post about as well. So when you asked me, I was like, yeah. I don't know, like when you're like, oh, it's gonna be based off of your Aries sign, and I was like, yeah. I just so resonate with my sun sign so much that like I feel like yeah, I can represent those Aries out there.
Hey, yeah. So if you're an Aries listening in, we got a lot in store for you. Melanie's a great, like, just overall. Why am I so nervous? I can't get it out of my head.
You're a good girl.
It's so weird. I used to act too. I'm like, why am I frozen?
Just
I
take a
can
breath.
obviously edit.
You got this.
I have like a million things. I'm just so excited. That's what it is. I'm not
Yeah.
scared. I'm just like, I just want to talk about so many things.
Yeah. It's okay, just flow.
Okay.
We're flowing.
Yeah. For all the Aries out there, there's a lot in store for you with this episode. I met Melanie in the summer. We met at a women's circle, and it was just such a great day, such a high vibe. Everybody was just like crying, hugging, dancing, laughing, like everything far and in between. And immediately when I met Melanie, there was just this spark and just this contagious energy. And just sharing about ourselves, I was like, she's an Aries. And then she's like, I'm an Aries. I'm like, fuck yes. I love Aries energy. Like, I will say time and time again, everyone needs an Aries friend because you are hands down what everyone needs in that
It's
department.
that little spark that we kind of like give to people, that little fire that we have. I'm like, I just want to share that fire with everyone. And it's not like that fire that's burning things down. It's just like that passion, that excitement almost, and that heat that we all kind of need in life to keep it like lively.
I love that. I love it. I love it. One thing too, I feel like I've shared this with you before, but what I love about fire energy specifically, it's this quote that a shared flame doesn't dim, it burns brighter. You know, and like that's just Aries energy to me in a nutshell. Like, just put it out there, spread the joy, because that's like how joy spreads even more in itself, you know? So
I love that. Yeah,
yeah,
definitely. I can resonate with that. And um, yeah, that we can get something from all the signs. We can learn from one another for
for sure.
sure. But I think as Aries being like the first sign of the zodiac, we're kind of just like that natural born leader to kind of like initiate people to kind of get in that playful energy that, because like it's also
Mhm.
like being the first zodiac sign, but it's also like the baby, like the child of the zodiac as
Yeah.
well. So we really like embrace that playful side to others as well. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Part of ourselves that we gotta remember sometimes,
Yeah.
Life's not so fucking serious.
Yeah. I have to remind myself of that all the time. I'm not like I'm naturally that energy, but I also sometimes, like life
Yeah,
happens and you have
you're
to remind
human.
yourself like, okay, Melanie, get back into that fun, playful, like
Mm,
carefree side of yourself every once in a while.
yeah, I love that. So, I have a few questions for you today. First one, what makes you your higher self?
Oh, what makes me my highest self? Well, I think it's trusting the energy around myself or like in my body and what it's trying to communicate with myself. So sometimes if it's like
Mm,
saying like you need to rest your body, you need to sleep. I want like that's me embodying my highest self by like listening to what my body needs. Or sometimes I have
mhm,
like this built up energy that's wanting like more excitement, more adventure and it's like okay, even though like sometimes you might not have all the answers to certain things, but it's just like trusting that energy and going forward with it. Like
mhm,
being your highest self is like I don't know, it's like a version of you that you're not quite yet, but you have that within you all the time, almost in a sense. So it's like just yeah, trusting and listening to the signs. That's like one thing that I would say that is embodying my highest self, but also like setting the best intentions forward out into the
mm,
world is being my like highest self, like sending love and good vibes, compassion and forgiveness to the world, outside of myself and within myself. Like it's easy
mm,
to do that in the world to give out love, but it's really like truly being your highest self is giving that back to yourself and filling your own cup up first before giving to the world, because like how can I give to you if I'm truly not
mm,
valuing myself? Or even like sometimes when you have to pour into yourself, that means that you have to set boundaries with people, and like that can be like a weird thing because it's like I'm very much a giver and a helper and I want to, that also is like a trait of like me embodying my highest self is by giving, by helping, but sometimes you have to set boundaries with that as well and give to yourself. So that's like another thing that I kind of value in being my highest version of myself. And yeah,
mm,
there like even just like knowing having a trying my best to have a balance between rest and play and like go get or go after, but also knowing that like life is not supposed to be hard, like
mm.
in a sense, even though like we make it very much hard and like the world around us makes it hard at times, but it's knowing that like you can chill sometimes
Yeah.
and also go get it when the energy is aligning with you. um
Mm,
so yeah, and I guess like one last point to touch on for like being my highest self would be like stepping to new levels for myself, challenging myself to do the hard things,
mm,
and seeking knowledge or seeking experience in things that I don't know 100%, but like being open-minded to exploring things really like helps me embody my highest self, because like, we don't know all the answers. And I think like when you have this desire or this pull towards certain things, at times it's like even though it's scary being in the unknown at times, it's kind of like you need to trust what your higher self is telling you to do, like that
mm,
inner voice that is telling you you should do this, but you're like, "Oh, I don't know, I shouldn't, I don't know," but it's like yes, trust it if it gives you some type of like excitement. Obviously if it's like scary, like there's like red flags written all over it, don't trust the scary at 100% of the time, but the things that make you feel good, you can learn a lot from those experiences. And um, yeah, and knowing that you're perfect as is, even if you mess up, like I
mm.
think that's really important to know as your highest self is no matter where you are, what you've done, what you've gone through, like God doesn't judge or the universe is not judging you, like, and you need to look at yourself with like that forgiveness as well and compassion.
Yeah. Wow. That was really fucking good. I'm like, there's so many things I'm like, ooh, remember something to say about that. Ooh, remember something to say about that. One thing that really came across for me with your answer is just show up. Like, if there's an opportunity, just get there and take action and be in the seat that you feel called to do it, and everything else will kind of fall into place. And just how you shared right away about how Aries is like the child, that's kind of what I got from like your perspective of that, because it's like you're looked after, it's okay, or like life's not so serious, just
Right.
play, just show
Yes.
up and play, and everything will fall into accordance because you're in the energy of everything working out, child
Yes.
of the universe.
Yeah, like just trusting that truly and,
Hmm.
being playful, optimistic, open-minded to what is there to explore.
Yeah, and sharing that flame with yourself too, the
Yeah.
regenerative sense of making sure your cup's full, like just having that remembrance that if you share your flame, make sure it's not going to dim your own in
Yeah.
that type
I've
of
had that tendency for a
metaphor.
long time in my life to give
Mm,
because it truly does bring me bliss and it really makes me feel like I'm in my highest self when I can give and like make other people smile. But
mm.
that can be easily taken advantage
The
of and like
cost.
drain you as well while giving. So that's something I've definitely been embodying the last couple of years for myself is really pouring into my cup. And like that was a hard
Mm.
thing to do because I have a hard time saying no, but it's something that you have to do and you'll learn the reason why it's so like necessary. And it's kind of like, and once you start
Yeah.
setting boundaries, it's like, oh, like I actually like being by myself or like I actually like giving to myself. Like you see the benefit of it, and then yeah, you eventually make your way back out of that like solitude type of vibe, and you like start sharing that again, or you're always
Yeah.
sharing it, but in different ways.
Yeah, the cycle continues.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I know you've been on an epic journey of self-discovery. Can't get enough of your Instagram. I've already told you this, but I love when you just share and you're like spur of the moment, authentic, like words of wisdom. Like it just hits different. I just love your vibe.
Thank you.
And in that whole discovery, you've moved overseas, you've had a whole journey in that part of your life and following the untreaded path in terms of your career and finding your purpose. It's all true Aries fashion. So, yeah, I'm just opening up the floor now for you to tell us about yourself and what you've been up to lately.
Yeah. So like you mentioned, I about 2.5 years ago, I quit my job as a hairstylist to go move to Portugal, where my parents immigrated from. And it was just like one of those moments, like I was actually enjoying what I was doing as a hairstylist, but there was just something else inside of me that was like pulling me towards exploring something new. And I didn't know what it was. I just had this desire that there was more to
Mm.
explore. And I, like I said,
Hmm.
didn't know the answers, so I just needed to like jump with my eyes closed into this like dream that I was having and just trust that the universe was going to catch me on the other side of it and guide me through this journey that I took myself on. So that was about 2.5 years ago. And since then, I've been just discovering different parts of myself and like like we were mentioning, like remaining in that childlike innocence of like exploring the world and um, learning as I go through different rooms. And something that I've really like held on to lately was knowing that I'm in my purpose no matter where I'm at or what I'm
Mm.
doing is like it's who you are. And like for me, it's like the love that God planted in my heart to share with other people is what makes my purpose like a reality for me in any room that I'm in. So that's something that I got to explore in myself in this last couple of months that I'm like, oh, maybe that's what it is. But I think you're always still discovering what it exactly like is to the pin. Um, or maybe we don't ever really figure that out and it's just ever evolving. But yeah, like I mentioned, I come from a Portuguese background. So growing up, I was just very closed-minded. I didn't really have much of a voice or like that Aries, that fiery, adventurous, playful girl was there, but she was quieted a lot as a kid, and I really am embracing that innocence, that playful energy, that inner child that wants to be explored is she's really out right now, I find, and still very curious. And I would like to say, like, I'm a passionate, deep feeler, like an empath, or like just like a deep lover, I feel like in this world. And um, yeah, like I think that is like a superpower that I have, that I can be able to relate to a lot of different people's perspectives. And like I have many perspectives that I can look at life from. And um, I like that part of myself because uh, I don't know, you get to learn about other people in that way, and how we're all just the same, and how we're all connected by that. But yeah, I'm like a natural born leader. I've always been this type of energy since a little kid. I was always just like, I felt like there was a teacher inside of me that wanted to like lead the way for others and like stomp down the grass in front of me to like lead a path for people that were looking for inspiration or looking for a way, because I never truly had like that example per se in my life. So I needed to be that for myself and find myself within that all. Um, so yeah, like I'm embarking on this journey to find freedom, to find joy. And freedom is and joy is different to everyone, but I'm just discovering what it is exactly. And I mean, I would love to just be sipping on some coconut water on a beach every day of my life. That would be cool freedom to live. And like I feel like I'm embarking on that journey. So I'll get there eventually. And another part of who I am is a lot of what I do, I do it for my lineage. I do it for the people who walked before me in my family, because they didn't have a voice to do the things that I am doing. Like my mom's my inspiration. She was a mother of three by 25, and she was a wife and a mother. And I just felt her encouragement to just seek out whatever it is that I'm looking for before I settle down. So I do this for my mom, I do this for the lineage that walked before me. I do it for me, obviously, but um yeah, I do it to empower the people who walk after me, for my future kids to like really just go out for whatever you want. Whatever your dream is, just go for it. And yeah, I'm a big believer in faith and just like trusting what God has planted in your heart and going forward with it. Like it's not planted there for no reason. And like I think we're here to explore that a little bit. And yeah, I guess that's kind of like who I am. And I guess like what I've been doing lately, like I said, very open-minded to exploring different things, but in recent times, I've just been getting myself involved in the community in Toronto and going into like a studio called Content Day Studio. There's just like a whole bunch of different artists from different walks of life, like dancers, photographers, models, um, yeah, painters, just like all musicians, just like all types of artists. And like I just feel like I'm a person of solitude a lot. Like I like to keep to myself, and I like to learn about myself in solitude. So now I'm really in the stage of like challenging that and like putting your magic out into the world more, Melanie. Like just go out, socialize, connect with people even online. Like this is something that I'm like getting myself more out of my comfort zone with. And aside from that, like just launching some things like on the side as well with like certain programs. Like I'm doing meditation Mondays where I can gather people together to just not even necessarily meditate. It's just like a group of people where we can just like talk about what it is that's on our heart that we want to share. Just like a space for safe community, because I feel like we all need that a little bit more. I never really had that a whole lot, so I want to create that for other people, especially in this industry with like entertainment. I really want to create that safe place for people. Um, and just like, yeah, just trusting where life takes me, because I don't know what the answers are and like where I'm going, but I'm just trusting it and letting life guide me into things. And then I'm like, okay, should I do this or should I not? And I really listen for that answer when I go ahead in life. Like I really
Mm.
take time to like sit with myself to like know if it's right for me or not. So yeah, just I'm here to empower and motivate others to step into their highest self as well. I think that's definitely a part of my mission, and I'm just trying to figure out a way to do that in a more efficient way, or like I know that I'm already doing it, but just I don't know, there's something there in my head that's like, okay, you gotta do something more. And I'm like, Melanie, just chill. Like, you're good. Just trust that you're like on track to what you're doing. So, yeah, just continuing with my self development and challenging myself, content creating, and building my empire, I guess. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. You're such a badass. One of
Thank you.
my, I heard this recently and it was just such a great perspective, just from what you shared with lineage. And just coming back to the Maslow's hierarchy of needs and how every human has to have the necessities met first. So, like, you think of it as a pyramid, right? So, the bottom foundation of that pyramid is our foundational security. So, like, our house, make sure you have food, make sure you have electricity.
Yeah.
And then as you move up the pyramid, the top is enlightenment. And what I heard when I listened to this lately was that for especially families who are immigrants or who have come here to start a new life, the parents are at that first foundational layer. And the next stage, their children are to climb that ladder, get higher to enlightenment. And what I find super fascinating about that is the psychological piece of it, that you were raised by parents who are so fixated on that foundation, but you have this mission to climb up
Mm.
towards enlightenment. And I have goosebumps right now thinking about how important like you are, to so
Oh,
many people that you impact, and just like your own authentic story you bring forward. Um, One thing too I always love about Aries in general, but I see it in you, is the confidence aspect. And on your social media, what really catches my eye is when you're rocking down a runway, and you've shared with me that like the designers are like, "Hey, make this face do this specific guideline," and you're like, "Fuck that! I'm gonna rock my world, like be who I
yeah.
am, and like smile and just bring joy into that space that isn't as sparkly as it was before you walked in the walked in the room."
Yeah, I think that's so important that like you add your magic wherever you are. And like I don't like to put myself in a box to like what people have expectations for. And like
Mm.
I will respect you and I will honor what you have to say. Of course, I'm all about respect, but like at the same time, let me sprinkle a little bit of Melanie in there and
Yeah.
like make it something that makes me feel good as well. Like if someone tells me to walk down a runway all serious, I will like I'm gonna be like waving at people and like
Yeah.
smiling and like maybe I'll do a cartwheel. No, I'm not actually gonna do a cartwheel. But like I always think like just like have fun with it. Like that's what makes it the show. It's the people that engage with it as well.
Yeah. And how you get called back, you know, by
There
the
must be
same
something I'm
people.
doing right.
So, what has been the most rewarding for you? In other words, what has felt like embodying your higher self? Why is that so?
Um, the most rewarding is like the trust that I gain every single time I do like to be your higher self. I think it takes bravery at times or courage to like step into something that you're not used to. So to trust that guidance that I've been given is like rewarding because when you jump and you get caught by the universe afterwards, like you'll see like, oh, okay, like I can do this again. Like I can do this another time that I think it's going to be scary and that I won't be caught. Like your faith just gets stronger and stronger every
Mm.
time. So that's like super rewarding to like to step into your higher self and knowing that like I am making a difference, even if it's not the way that I envisioned. Like you're making a difference and it ripples. And even if you just help one person, like that's huge. You're changing that person's world, right? So,
Mhm.
and which that's their whole world that they get to change as well. So it's just like a butterfly effect. So that's just super rewarding to be able to share my voice and do the scary things and put it out there for people to see, to empower and inspire others. Um, and then I guess the last point that I'd like to touch on that is like the most rewarding is back to the lineage, like doing it for my family,
Mm.
doing it to empower the people that walk after me or that have walked before me as well. Like I know that they're cheering me on and they're like they were hard workers as well and they put up with a lot of stuff as well in their lifetime. So I feel like I'm allowing them to rest in a sense. So I like for those who know, who understand, like they'll know
Yeah.
like what I'm talking about. But I just feel very connected with my roots and
Mm.
yeah, I feel like it's rewarding for my family.
It's beautiful. The bravery is just what my biggest takeaway is from that. And just coming back to Aries again, too, in how the planet that rules Aries being Mars, the god of war, which I find super fascinating. Not many people know this. When you think of the ancient Romans, right, the ones who conquered the
Yeah.
world, this was pre Jesus. This was a time where this um, extremely powerful force of Romans who build the empire across the world, their main worship was to Mars. When they prayed at night, when they set all of their intentions out to do what they did, they were praying to Mars for guidance, for
Oh,
assurance, like the god of war. And if you think about the impact that the ancient Romans made, right?
yeah,
So the
still.
way I see that and like translated with what you just said and how Aries is ruled by Mars. Like Aries is the warrior of the zodiac, you know, and I find it important to remember that courage isn't the absence of fear. Courage is to feel the fear and do it anyway, and to
Yeah,
just keep
for
pushing
sure.
forward and conquering and building your empire, like you said. So
Yeah,
I just was like,
definitely.
ooh, yes,
I
with what
just
you
definitely
shared.
resonate with the warrior inside of me. I
It's
definitely feel
awesome.
like God has placed a lot of situations in my life, and everyone has been had gets faced with difficulties and uh,
Mm-hmm.
or like situations or energies in their life, and like I don't know, I take it as God gave it to me to like
Mm.
fight, and if he brought it to me, I can get myself through it. It's nothing's impossible, and it's like you gain something from all of it all the time. Like alchemizing is like my superpower, and I feel like that's like a warrior's like you got to go through it, but it's okay. Like you're going to be rewarded in the end of it, and it builds so much just
Yeah.
confidence in yourself and like strength within your spirit as well.
Mm-hmm. My mom always says, if you're going through hell, don't linger. Like, just keep
Keep
going.
going.
Yeah. So, just reframing that then, if that's what feels like embodying your higher self, right? How do you define embody?
Embody to me means like stepping into an energy or becoming one with, becoming
Mm,
some, becoming something that you envision or that you desire, or giving form to an idea or an energy or a feeling that you have. So yeah, if there's something that you feel that or that you see, even like you're inspired by someone or an idea, like I said, or a feeling, it's like you step into that. It's you becoming that, even though you might not have it within you 100%, but it's about like just allowing yourself to be it and
mm,
becoming it afterwards.
wow. I think like a big takeaway is the allow, because that's where
Yeah,
that courage comes in again. Like
yeah,
putting
definitely.
everything aside and
Giving
just
yourself
stepping in.
permission
Mm,
to be what it is that you are envisioning for yourself, and you
yeah.
can embody the good and the bad. It's just
Hmm.
your choice of what you want to embody. And it's not to say one is better than the other. Like, I think we can embody both sides of the spectrum at times in our lives, and it all
Mm-hmm.
serves its purpose. But um, you also have a choice in everything of
Mm,
what you want to embody.
so good. It's so good. I love talking to you. What are your favorite Aries traits that you resonate with the most?
There's a lot. I could probably sit here. Uh, I guess to start it off, definitely like the leader of the pack. I feel that energy. Like I feel like in any room that I'm in, I can I I allow people to shine. I allow people to do their thing, but I think that's what a leader is. A leader
Mm,
doesn't need to be the center of attention. The leader
right.
is like influencing almost the energy of others so they can be that star, be that light that they're looking for, and encouraging
Mhm.
others to like. I feel like that definitely that part of my energy. I'm very charismatic and I love to hype people up. I'm a big hype man or hype woman,
Yeah.
and I definitely resonate with that energy a lot. And that carefree, free-spirited energy. She's there, but I can very much say that that very serious side of me is there as well. But I try to tap into that childlike energy a lot more. If I'm truly comfortable, I feel like that's just like
Mhm.
naturally just comes out.
Mhm.
I'm very optimistic and yeah, very optimistic, I would say. And I feel like that resonates with like Aries. Like we think very like uh what's the word I'm looking for? Like victorious. Like we think that like
Mhm.
we're saying back to
Triumphant.
yeah, triumphant. Yeah, exactly. Like we strive to win almost, and
Mhm.
we stay optimistic in that mindset of like, yeah, I'm going to win. I am a winner or whatever it might be. Like I actually recite those affirmations to myself all the time. Like I am a winner. I'm a champion. Um, and I have to like, because sometimes I get down on myself and I have to like,
Yeah.
remind myself of who the heck I am. Um, but also I feel like with the Aries energy, we're very like courageous, like we've touched on. And uh, I think also the Aries energy is like sexy, it's bold, it's
Mhm.
honest. And I like, there's just this like that fire energy is there. Like people are kind of like, whoa, what is that? Kind of
Mhm.
like I feel that energy sometimes. I feel like I resonate with that when I do see other Aries, and um,
Mhm.
we're very playful, I find. So I don't know. I think that's like what kind of makes it seem like sexy in a sense. Or it's just like an
Mhm.
energy that you feel. It's not necessarily like sexy on the outside. It's just like an energy that you feel.
Owning it.
Yeah, the confidence that like we
Yeah,
have is kind of like that sexiness that we bring.
for sure.
Um, I'm not confident all the time, but
Mhm.
I do resonate with that aspect of being confident. Like if someone won't do something because they're scared, like I'll be like, I'll do it. And like, and I'm just like Aries are usually like the first ones to just like jump into the fire, to do the scary thing, to lead
Yeah.
by example, so then other people don't feel as scared to do it. So I
Mhm.
really resonate with that as well. Like I will put my hand up first for like anything that like just because I'm like curious, and I also am just like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah. Here for the
Um,
party. Let's see where we go.
yeah, definitely very passionate. Like I mentioned, like I go forth with a lot of like just excitement and deep, passionate love as well. Like I do things because I love you. You know, like it's
Mhm.
like that type of
Yeah.
energy. Um, and I think that we stand up for what we believe in as well. Like kind of going back to like that leadership, like we stand up for what's right, and
Mhm.
it might not be right to everyone, but I stand up for what I feel is right for the collective, not just for me. Like I'm not just like singular and like what's best for me. Like I want to look at all the perspectives and do what's right for everyone type of
Mm.
energy.
Yeah.
And I guess the last thing I will touch on with Aries, um, I would have to say like our independence as well. Like
Mm.
I resonate with that. Like I can be a solo dolo by myself and feel good with that. But also like I'm okay with being around other people. Like I think independence is Like I'm not afraid to be who I am and stand out in a room full of other people. Like I'm okay to be like the odd one out, that black sheep. Again, it goes back to like leadership. I feel it's just like
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay to stand out so that you can also shine and stand out in your world as well.
Yes. No, that's so good. And everything I see that totally in you, for sure. One thing too, I know we've talked about this before, and I was just such a great like food for thought to dig into astrology a little more because I know you're well versed in astrology, so it's fun to bounce deeper ideas now. And that's the concept of, Aries being the first sign. So rulership of the first house, ruled by planet Mars, that we said is like the warrior planet, right? And what I love about astrology is when you play with the sister signs, you look at the opposite energy, which again is the mirror, and you can begin to pick apart even more of what makes Aries Aries by looking at the opposite sign, Libra.
Yeah.
And just what you share, I just want to kind of like share a different perspective on it because the first house is opposite of the seventh house. And seventh house is ruled by Libra, which is balance, fairness, justice, which means the opposite is Aries, the first house of the self, right? Of like
Yeah.
just your personality, your persona. And in many ways, which I've read and I find fascinating, comes back to chaos, right? Chaos. And then on the other end of the spectrum in Libra is order.
Mm.
So classic witchcraft principles here, chaos and order. And what I love about Aries energy is if order is the goal, if order is the balance, the fulfillment, the we made it moment, you've
Mm.
got to go through the chaos.
Yeah.
Like you got to have the courage, you got to have your Aries hat on and move through stuff, learn who you are as your own vessel, your own soul, your own mission. Like how you said, my purpose is who I am. Doesn't matter where the hell in the world I am, it's in me. And I just really wanted to highlight that because I know like so many coaching clients I have are like, my goal is balance. And I'm like, okay, well, have you been, friends with your chaos yet? Because
I
that's
love
the
that.
key. So I just wanted to touch on that. And yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's
just
so
highlighted.
cool that you mentioned that because I definitely feel that energy in my life of chaos. Like me quitting my job 2.5 years ago to jump into the unknown, it was
Mm,
kind like it was so that I could find my order, my balance, my, like find that.
mm-hmm.
But I knew that it wasn't just gonna like I thought it could be over like and done with in a year or like a couple. I'm like, yeah, I'll jump into it and I'll find the answers in 6 months. And then 2.5 years later, I'm like, okay, we're still in the chaos. Like, what's going on? But like I know that like it's divinely guiding me to that opposite of what I'm looking for or that I'm in right now, which is like that
Mm-hmm.
order. And yeah, you got to shake shit up to find what it is that, you know, I'm leaving a complete different world than I was living. I was living in order almost, but it wasn't
Mm,
my order. It wasn't, I was living someone else's order that they put into my head as a belief that I should be living. So I felt like, oh, there's something wrong here. Even though I enjoyed being a hairstylist, I had an apartment, I had my car, I had everything that was supposed to be,
mm-hmm.
but there was something that was missing. So I felt like I needed to shake it up to find my order again, to find who I am and what I want.
Ooh, full body goosebumps. That's so good. So, I mean, it's quite clear now, but what about these traits do you believe made a difference in being successful?
Yeah, just like personal leadership and trusting is huge. Just like having that relationship with yourself, and the divine, like however you want to connect with the divine or the universe or God or source, whatever you want to call it. I think having which is in within you. So like really just gaining that relationship with yourself to like hear your intuition, um, and trust in your intuition. So when you go to take the next steps, you feel like, okay, I feel more aligned, or I can trust myself when making decisions. Um, And yeah, what makes a difference as well is going back to the point that we mentioned in the beginning is like just finding more joy, being more playful throughout life. Like that makes a huge difference. And when life starts to become stressful, and stress is going to happen, like hardships are going to happen, of course, but it's the matter of like, how can I invite more joy into my life? Like, how can I be more grateful and look for the light when, even when
Mhm.
you're in it, like you, like in the darkness, it's just inviting joy back into your life, even with the little things, like just turning on the music to make you feel good. Um,
Mhm.
it's just finding that makes a difference and hugely. Um, and just like wanting like I win if I see other people winning around me as well. Like, how can you
Mhm.
be winning or rich or whatever you think that success is, or how can you be there if you don't have anyone around you who's also in that energy as well? Like, you don't want to be celebrating by yourself, and some may beg to differ. They might want to disappear and be by themselves, and that's okay. But I truly want people to be winning alongside of me. And
Mhm.
I think that that trait of being like charismatic, or just like wanting to see the good in everyone, I think that makes a difference in this world. Because I think once we can like learn to like help one another and be in community, and learn that like it's not necessarily just being in community, but just by taking care of yourself allows you to be in community. I think that's super important, and makes a difference. Um, and yeah, I think another thing that makes a difference is being the outcast, being that black sheep, being that a person that stands out from the rest. Makes a difference because someone's looking up to you, and
Mhm.
you're, like I said, you're changing their world. You're allowing other people to make decisions for themselves as well. When you can step into um, making that decision for yourself, it allows other people to be like, you know what, maybe I can do that as well.
Mhm.
And I think that's super inspiring for me to like continue on with that side of me, and knowing
Fuck
that
yeah.
hey, yeah, Melanie, keep going, like keep up with your optimism and your determination, and never giving up. Just like trust and have faith is like one thing that keeps me going through it all, and that makes a huge difference. Is just your faith is everything. And I think that can be a touchy word for some people because they don't know what that
Mhm.
means to them, but it's having a belief in whatever you want to believe in. Stick with
Mhm.
it. If you want to live a good life and you want to be happy and you want to be loved and joyous, believe that that is going to happen for you. But if you're going to believe, oh, my life is going to be shitty, my life is going to, like, I'm going to be this and that and something negative, that's what your belief is going to be. So it's hard when you're in it and you're living with something negative, but it's about just changing your beliefs and like taking it one step at a time, one day at a time, to making that belief your reality.
Mhm.
So I think that's super important to to make a difference in anyone's life, anyone's desires or dreams. Like, just stick to whatever you want to believe in and
Mhm.
run with it.
There's an amazing quote, Earl Nightingale. Another word for persistence is faith. And I just love that because, again, too, like the more right brain thinkers, the more linear astrology is a hoax type people, I'm certain they're not listening, but anyway, giving you more stuff to rebuttal those people right now. And if you are so like just linear thinkers about how to reach a goal, like you said, like if you have a vision for your life and you want to succeed, and you're just focused on the success rather than who you're going to be with at the end of it all, and you're focusing on how to be persistent, how to be more motivated, how to be more disciplined, and like so fixated
Yeah,
on
yeah,
3D shit that can come up and then derail your progress. It's like
right.
if you just have a little more fun in your day,
Yeah,
your body relaxes, your energy is more contagious and
yeah.
open, like
So much
things flow
easier.
easier. Your unconscious mind isn't in fight or flight. If you change persistence into faith, if you leave it outside of yourself and just
Yeah,
have your vision be what, holds all of the pressure, so you don't
yeah,
have to find motivation falling from the
yeah,
sky somewhere, I just feel it's such a magical magic. Yeah, magical realization when you understand how powerful the self is. And I truly believe that's like Aries' message.
Yeah, I love what you just shared there because it's so true when you can surrender that, like whatever you're desiring, you surrender it, like you put it out there like, hey, this is what I want,
Mhm.
and rather than getting the how, the what, instead of like searching for all those things, like just trusting that it's going to come and find you. And
Mhm.
like, yeah, of course you have to put a little bit of work out there and put yourself out there to do some things, but it's really just magical when you can work with the universe in that way because, and it takes its own time. We're impatient at times. We're like, oh, it's
Yeah,
supposed to be now, but it's like, I'll
microwave
show you
mode.
why you had to wait this long to like understand it all.
Mhm. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And winning, of course, it's funny. I always say like Aries is champion energy, and when others win,
Yeah,
you
we don't like
win.
to
You know.
lose.
Yeah, yeah.
We're like kind of competitive a little bit, but
A
like
little
I don't think
bit.
about it like I'm like, oh, I need to win. Like I'm a good sore loser, like, or not even a sore loser. Like I'm a good, like, I want you to win too.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm winning when you're winning, but like also like, hey, we want to be seen sometimes
Yeah.
too. So
The
that's kind of
rules
that
have to be
energy.
fair. Show me where I can find my own loopholes to be a little bit different.
Yeah,
Make a
that's
mark.
kind of the energy.
I love it. Well, that's a wrap on all of the questions today. I'm so happy to have spent this time with you. I can't wait to get this message out to everyone else. And if you want to leave just with sharing how people can continue following you in your journey, just with your Instagram handle or
Yeah,
anything like
I
that.
just want to say thank you for having me here and having such
Mhm.
wonderful questions. Like, I feel like,
Mhm.
I don't know, it really allowed me to like view myself even. And I have a mirror right in front of where my camera is right now, and I'm like, that's you, girl. Like, I don't know, like it just really brightened my day to have this interview with you. So I appreciate for you to ask me to be here. And yeah, you guys can follow the journey on my Instagram or TikTok. It's just my name, Melanie Cordero. And yeah, there's more to come. Maybe YouTube in the future or other aspects. But hey, I am here for the ride. And if you guys want to join, just give me a follow, I guess. So I thank you so much
Thank
for
you,
letting me be
Melanie.
here.
Thank you so much for being on here. So great.
So good.
Well, I'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon, okay?